Hey there, welcome to Plan With Me, Rhonda. This is now on demand. And what I thought I would do each session is we're going to do a quick session here of using the priority framework. I recommend that you do the framework every 30 days. You can do it more if you complete the three big tasks for the month. That's always a question that I get. How often should I do this? And at the very top, I'm going to scroll all the way up here to the top is this is your 30-day decision session. And so depending on, this could take as little as 15 minutes to complete the whole planning session for the month, or this could take up to 30 minutes. But I guess the key here to using this priority framework in this way is that you just are answering questions. And I think it's really important that you always tap the mic to talk so that it can really get a full context of the things that you're thinking and really see the patterns and pull things out of you. It will take small phrases that you use and it will make a more concrete plan, which is really interesting. And I'm going to show you that here today. And so this should be completed on the 25th of the month. And so the reason that I do this, like I have a checklist of things that we do on the 25th. And part of it is evaluating what has happened in the current month. And then that gives me a week for planning. I always share the Plan With Me Live the first week, just in case you need to get your mind right, or maybe you haven't had an opportunity to sit down and plan. Again, literally 15 to 30 minutes, and then you have a whole plan that you can execute for 30 days. And so a lot of the questions that we ask here are things that tap into, they're not really surface. They go a little bit deeper or a layer deeper. And so when we're thinking about planning, one of the things in the next 30 days, if you were successful, what would feel different in your business? I always say when I think about that and I have that question is that I would feel calmer. I would feel more relaxed. And it's always associated, calm and relaxed are always associated with time freedom for me. Now, as we scroll down, the next question would be, let's give that direction a little bit, calm and time freedom. Would progress in the next 30 days, what would that look like? And for me, it's always more income with less effort, because then more income with less effort, that means that I'm using systems to support me, which make me calm, which make me relaxed and give me time freedom. And then I really like, there are months where I am locked in. And there are other months where I need more capacity for my life. And in terms of planning, it helps guide. So it asks you, give me a number, like how focused are you feeling right now? And I'm working on an offer and I'm super excited about it and I'm locked in. So I'm all in at a 10. And so what describes your best financial stage right now in terms of revenue that you're generating for your business? I really like this because the priority framework can work with you if you are pre-revenue building, if you're inconsistent revenue, or if you're consistent and you're ready to scale. So you can pick one of the three. So I've got consistent revenue. So we're strengthening and stabilizing the revenue engine. One of the things that we're going to, for me, over the next 30 days is to install a revenue engine. So a couple of the things that it asks you, and I'm not going to read all of these verbatim, but for me, and you offer that converts fast. I'm looking to take what I know, apply it to a completely different niche. I'm always trying to create a case study for myself. It's something I'm really excited about and I've been working on behind the scenes. So we're not chasing more effort, we're creating a faster converting offer just out of the gate. And so then the theme for 30 days is offer refinement, right? And if we're doing that, we're going to define the outcomes. So I think in the beginning, when you start anything new, there's always this surge of energy and surge of excitement. But really the key here is going to be follow through. And that is where the priority framework really shines. And specifically, it defines outcomes. So we're not stuck in the feels And when the rubber hits the pavement, then we are like, I don't know about this. And that like leads to procrastination. And it's just another offer or something that, is in the wasteland behind us. So when we're talking about the first outcome, it's a clearly defined offer, a certain number of sales, and a visibility routine. This kind of really creates the ecosystem for me. So right now, they're still a bit broad and activity based. And so I love how this is coaching me now. We need to turn these into clear, measurable outcomes. So I say, well, I have consistent revenue. I want to make more revenue. Well, let's further define that, especially when we're talking about offer. What are your clear, measurable outcomes? These are the things that nobody wants to talk about because we always like to stay in our feels, but the clear, measurable outcomes. So what would this feel complete? A new offer, fully defined, priced, and ready to sell. Okay, yeah, that does capture it. So that's simple. So it's me, it's the GPT that is asking you questions, and then I am able then to obviously respond, but then it's helping you to get really, really clear on the things that you need to do. So the outcome number one, we're locked in. It's a new offer, fully defined, priced, and ready to sell. So now the second one. We've already defined these and it's remembered for me. So a certain number of sales. So what number would make this feel like a win? And I was like, let's say 20. And let's just stab in the dark, but I would be over the moon thrilled with 20 sales. That first sale is always one that gets me so excited. Like, I don't know, it doesn't matter if it's 7 or 6,000. Like, it just is that first sale is like, you talk about like the excitement of starting something new, but then it's the excitement of they really like me, it's like, oh, it works. And so anyway, I would be over the moon thrilled with 20 sales. So that's clear and measurable, 20 sales of the new offer. That's outcome 2. So now the third, visibility routine. And the reason why I'm taking longer here, we won't take as long, the week at a glance and the focus and finish, because here I want you to see that these initial responses that I gave were somewhat vague, and now we're further defining. And the key here is those vague ideas, that's what they are, ideas. And we avoid implementation with procrastination, like we're reorganizing or we're doing things inside of our business. This is almost like, okay, you said this is what you want to do. You say you have the energy, you say you have the focus. This is where your revenue is right now. This is how we clearly define and how we take the step by step in order to get there. So I love that about the priority framework. So at the end of 30 days, what proof would exist that visibility is working? So instead of just like posting on social media, right? So I would say audience growth that leads to sales. Okay, it's a good direction. Now we need to sharpen it because it's still a little bit blended. We've already captured sales in outcome number 2. So this one should focus on the input that feeds those sales. So let's tighten it. Would something like this feel clear and trackable? Audience increased by X qualified leads, or blank new qualified leads generated for the new offer. What number feels realistic and still meaningful for 30 days? And I'm going to be running ads. And so, and I know how to do this. And so an invisible list of 1,000 feels very doable. It's like, I see what you're aiming for. Now we make it concrete and usable. So we need a measurable, observable result. So let's translate it. So 1,000 qualified leads added to audience aligned with the new offer. Before we lock it, quick calibration. Does this feel realistic? It continues to check in with you because things that we think here are like, sometimes they're much fluffier, much bigger than really what is realistic. For me, I know how to do this. I feel like 1,000 on my invisible list feels very doable and attainable for me. Yes, okay, so it's lock it in. So new offer, fully defined, priced, ready to sell, 20 sales of the new offer, and 1,000 new qualified leads. Y'all, I don't even know, like, if you were, like, these are your 3 outcomes. This is our North Star. These are the things that we are doing for the next 30 days. We are aligned, we are locked in, our energy is good. And you think that we stop here. We do not stop here. There's one quick thing that um, I do want to point out, well, a couple of things here before we keep moving on. So, which of the three outcomes, if done, like which one would make the others faster, right? What's your first domino? And it's the offer, right? That's the leverage. That's going to take most of the time. And I've always said that you really need to like focus on that biggest domino first. And so here it is in action. It's going to take the most time because once we have that first domino, everything else kind of falls in line. So it's beautiful. What are you tempted? Now, here's the thing. I got you when the rubber hits the pavement and you are like, oh, this is hard. This is harder than I thought it was. So then we start to procrastinate. We're already defining it. We're going to define what it is that you procrastinate on. So we're going to put it in our parking lot, right? It's my business routine. So I continue to tweak or I'll reorganize something. That is my form of procrastination. And I said, like, that's it. I mean, if I'm thinking like one business, like that really is like the reorganization of the business routine, that is really my procrastination go to. And so I said, you know what? That's it. I give you up to 3 here. It's going to ask you for 3, but you can always have a conversation. This is your planning guide. It is helping you get super, super, super clear. 1, 2, 3. Now we know the things that we procrastinate on. So that's here. And so now we've got that stop list. So we've got that stop list. So the final alignment, will completing these 3 outcomes directly or indirectly increase the revenue? It's going to increase the revenue because if I create and define the offer and price it, it's ready to sell. If I get 20 sales and I create and establish a routine that gets me 1,000 people on my invisible list, but the byproduct is people are going to buy. People are going to buy. They want to buy it. So it's going to increase my revenue. So these 3 outcomes, what does this unlock for you? How are you going to feel differently? Relaxed, happy, excited. Like, I'm really excited about this offer. It's going to energize me. Okay. So then this is it. This is it. So now what we do is we're going to copy and paste this. Here is the template. Let me go back. So for May, we copy and paste. Really critical. Your GPTs don't store your work. So if you don't copy and paste, you're going to have to do it again. So here it is, that 30-day operating system, and I just put it inside of the description. Okay. And if you do any edits or whatever, you can go in and edit, but always make sure you hit save. If you don't, it'll still ask you to come back and save. Okay. So now the week at a glance, I love the week at a glance. Week at a glance is there's no perfect week to get this done. This idea in your head, the 3 defined outcomes that we have, fantastic. But guess what? It's not, there's going to be something that happens during the time of implementation. And so it just helps you to define how many focus blocks do you actually have in a week to work? When do you typically work best? And it maps it out week 1, week 2, week 3, like how you're going to complete each one of those in order to hit your 3 outcomes. So right here, my week at a glance, again, it's going to ask you several questions. Let me go back up here. Do not proceed. So here I copied and pasted what my 3 outcomes were, my priorities. And then it's going to ask you, how many do you have during the week? And I go 30, no more than 45 minutes. I think past that, it's we can go down a rabbit hole. So I really like shorter increments of time. Are your next 4 weeks consistent or uneven? So just let them know. Like, let this GPT know, your week at a glance know. Mine are going to be even. And then afternoon, evening, morning, like, what does your schedule look like? So it's consistent. I said I had 5 to 6. But this is for a new offer. So I have responsibilities first and then I work. So let's say between 1 and 3. Perfect. That helps us pace this realistically. So we have a 4-week rollout. Outcome number 1, the new offer fully refined. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Done. And then we go foundation. We're going to keep it light. And then here, it's your week at a glance. So what do? We copy and paste that week at a glance because you want to keep what you said in the GPT. So we've got our 3 priorities. Now we've defined when we're going to work on them. We haven't just thought about it and kept it here, right? So now all we have to do is to copy and paste in our focus and finish. And focus and finish is all about, it's your first forte into creating SOPs. What is a standard operating procedure? It's the tools and resources to complete a task, and it's a step-by-step. That's as complicated as it gets. And so the 2 pieces that you need for focus and finish, I need to know what those 3 priorities are, which we have, and I need to have your week at a glance when you're actually going to work at it. Because the focus and finish is all around when you get to that block, this is what you focus on, and you check the boxes off to finish. And so the way that we do this here, I actually really love this, is the focus and finish. Focus block 1, focus block number 1 task, write and finalize. This is who this is for statement. And so open, and I know this is like, it feels micro, and that's okay. So because when you get through here, and stop editing means like stop picking at it, right? So I can actually get through, all right, this is how I take care of task 1. This is how I take care of task 2. And this is how I take care of task 3. This is in my first week. This is it. I've got 3 blocks. I'm going to complete 3 tasks to get to my first milestone. And all of the information is here. Now, let's talk a little bit about SOS before we wrap things up. So we prioritize. We've got 3 things that we're committing to. And these 3 things are, you have your normal work week, and I know there are always things that you want to improve about your business or that you want to add to your business. That's what the prioritize is all about. That's what the priority framework is all about. And so the reason why we do our week at a glance with the priority framework, and we use measurable outcomes, is so that we don't overwhelm your ability to get your other work done, and we don't overwhelm your lifestyle, whatever that is. If you're taking care of kids, taking care of parents, taking care of pets, like whatever that looks like for you. I know in some instances you could get this work done. You could do it all in a week. If you really wanted to, you could do it in a handful of days. But I also know that everything else is going to go by the wayside. And the person who pays for that is you. And so I did create what I call the adjust as needed. And adjust as needed is there. It's your SOS. I need some help. Something in my plan went by the wayside. And in that plan going by the wayside, the problem is that I don't want you starting over. You don't have to start over. You literally take week at a glance and your focus and finish, and you add it to SOS. It's going to ask you some questions. It's going to adjust and give you your plan so that you move forward. The whole idea is that it's step 1, priority. We're doing 3 things with measurable outcomes. 2 is the week at a glance. How much time do you have to complete these tasks? What is realistic? And number 3 is the focus and finish. All right, when we have time, this is how we get the work done. SOS is all around, life went sideways on me. I did not see that tree falling through the house. I did not see that coming. And that is going to just wreck everything. So do I start all over again? No. You take your week and your focus, you add it to SOS, and you keep moving forward. It gets you out of the redeciding phase. Oh, I love it. If you need any help implementing your priority framework, you can always reach out and get more information on the Help Me Rhonda on demand. All right, take care. We'll talk soon.